And we are live for another Biddle on Saturday night.
Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, hey.
Hello.
So the stream health looks terrible, but hey, it's still live. All right, so Joe, you just told us about what has been your experience this week?
Well, I finally hopped, but not necessarily by choice. I was updating from 1710 to 1804 in Mate. I did not listen to myself as I preached about waiting for the point release because I knew better. And I thought, well, I was having trouble with 1710 with boot up, but I thought, kind of like you mentioned last week, Rockley, you said, well, I don't reboot that often, so who cares?
Right.
And so I thought, well, I'll try the update anyway. And sure enough, everything got scrambled. It was all over the place. I thought, well, that gives me a good excuse to reformat. Well, I'll try the update. And I did, but I forgot to back up my Steam folder in my .local. And sure enough, I lost all my profile history. It's like I back up my Steam games. It's like, what good is it? Because if the .local is going to house the profile, you lose everything. So that's a valuable lesson learned. But I kept saying it's a newbie mistake. The reality is I'm still a newbie in a lot of things, I guess, even though we've been exposed to it. But anyway, MX-17, thought I'd give that another rip. I love that distro, but same thing. I had it on the other drive still. I fired that up. I got into a browser, and it looked like it was just the wrong resolution. The fonts were all over the place. I tried going in there, and Dolphin was in one of the chat streams, and he said, go in there and get rid of the hinting. But they were pixelized. So finally I said, enough with this. And I started looking through, do I want to try a Kubuntu? And I thought, well, I always did like Studio. And I thought, well, you know what? Let me just give it a run. I haven't done it in a while. And ironically, with it being an XFCE, you and me have kind of the same problem. Our machines don't like XFCE, and this distro, my machine actually likes. Although this distro, like I said too, still has its quirks. There's little things about it that it doesn't like, and like even when I go into the software manager now, all of a sudden it's saying it can't find the update for, of all things, it looks like a Steam download folder. I don't know where that's coming from. So there's still little bugs in all the 1804s that I'm experiencing across the board, because I do have 1804 still loaded on the other drive. And I think I just unplugged the drive. I left just this one drive live in there. And I thought, I don't want to deal with grubs or anything like that until the point release comes out. But that's been my week so far.
Wow. So you've been having issues with 1804. Well, I've been having issues with 1804 too. So I have had more technical issues with 1804 than I really expected to, because I guess I expected it to be like LTS stable. And, as Zeb pointed out before, it's probably not going to be LTS stable till the 0.1 release. And, I mean, anywhere from errors to booting to just things that shouldn't be happening, sound issues that shouldn't be happening. And I guess that has underlying issues with Pulse Audio. But, yeah, it's not been an easy time in the last couple of weeks, so...
Well, I'll tell you what, Rocco. I was running the 1710 on my main system, and that came through with a big update, which updated it to the 1804.
Mm-hmm.
And I was having nothing but internet. I couldn't get an internet page up, and I'm thinking, what is wrong with the internet now? And my son's working. All the other computers are working all right. Then I'd run a live disk that was working all right. So I fresh installed the 1804, no problem. So I don't know what was going on. There was major confliction somewhere.
I couldn't get the upgrade from 1710 to 1804 to work on one of my little test machines. And I said, screw that. And I did a fresh install, and it worked.
Yeah,
the main machine, I always do a fresh install.
Yep.
Well, that could be part of the problem, Barb, because this was a beta on the main machine here, and I did upgrade. So who knows? Maybe that's part of the issue.
That could be, because I did. This one had, the one I'm using now had 1710 on it, and I just backed up what I needed to, wiped it, and then just put a fresh 1804 on it.
Well, it was my plan to do a fresh install anyway, but I was just a bit surprised how bad the internet was after the upgrade. So, yeah, fresh install sorted all that out anyway. So,
Well, the one thing I'll say about this, I mentioned earlier too, before we started, was the boot up time on here. Now, I ran the systemd analyze in the terminal at 7.735 seconds to get to the graphical interface. That's pretty darn quick.
Yeah. Well, chicken in the house.
Hey guys.
Oh, wow.
Chicken to you.
Hey, Pete. Pete is in the house after a couple weeks of absence. What's going on, Pete?
Nice.
Hello, Pete.
Hey.
Hey, Pete.
So where you been,
Pete.
kiddo? Pete, where you been?
Been busy.
He's just had better things to do on a Saturday night than be here.
Busy.
I thought you were asking Chicken. I was going to say he's doing very bad at video games.
Yeah.
No, I tell you, he's teaching me lots. I can't get anywhere with it, but he's teaching me lots.
I was going to say what exactly not to do, right, Zeb?
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Well, I think, as I said in Telegram, you know, I stick my head around the corner to have a look. Boom, I get shot. I go running outside, leaping and jumping and trying to fire at all sorts of weird angles. Boom, I get shot. So it's like, really? What is the point?
Because every time I record, I do horribly. But once I'm not recording, I actually end up like I had one game not long ago where I got kicked for like playing too competitively in casual, and I'm like,
Really?
I'm terrible at this.
Right.
Like, as soon as I died, I was like hearing everybody yell, "Kick chicken, kick chicken, kick chicken." I was like, what am I doing?
Apparently everything.
Yeah. I was like, I'm either too good or too bad. There's no middle ground.
Well, I seen you were playing Rocket League, but you having issues with it.
Yeah. I don't know why. If I use a controller, it's fine. I can just play the great game. But like, if I plug in another controller, it recognizes like the keyboard and mouse as player one, and then like there's two controllers, but I cannot use the controllers anyway. It's ridiculous.
That's great.
Bad.
Lamer.
Lamer.
So do you know how to cure that, Rocco, or have we got to wait for the king of Rocket League?
I went back from the controller to keyboard and mouse, so yeah,
You
you're
went back
gonna have to
to your-
wait for Michael.
What I was planning on doing was like having like a couple people play with me, but like that's the perk.
So in other words, you want a group of terrible people to play with you, so you don't feel as terrible playing.
So you'll feel good compared to everybody else. We know what it is.
Exactly.
Egos.
Yeah. Derek,
What's up?
what's going on?
No, not much.
What you been doing this week?
The usual distro hopping. No, I quit hopping. I've been on Manjaro for 2 weeks now.
2 weeks, yeah.
Until it breaks.
Or until he breaks.
I see you've been gaming as well, Derek.
Yeah, yeah. I played a little Counter Strike here, one of my streams, and yeah, I did very badly at it.
You and Chicken should join teams.
Yeah. The only reason I do it though was without testing my video card. I just wanted to see how it streamed 1080p, you know, while playing one of these games. So.
Right. Michael,
Hi, Michael.
in the house.
Michael, 3 1/4 hour.
Hi, Michael.
Did you really have a 3 1/4 hour stream?
Has he got sound?
Not talking to us.
Close audio.
I heard his marbles rattling. He shook his head.
What was that? What that sound was?
Oh,
Wow.
Boss has got camera.
Hey, look, Tosh
Marbles,
must
huh?
be on Marte. Look, he's got camera problems.
Oh, that ain't right. That's so wrong.
He's on Windows. That's what it is. He's trying to get in with Windows.
He's using Windows.
Yeah.
He's been encrypted by Rocco.
Hey, you got to run Linux to be on here, man.
Oh man, I'm getting a call from the NSA. Crap. Yes. No, it was Rocco. It wasn't me, sir. No. It wasn't
Yeah,
It looks like
yeah.
when you rewind a VCR right to the end and it just gets
Yes, that's exactly what it looks
camera
like.
is awful. Carmine. You gotta
I just saw it. I don't know what.
Someone's got a really bad.
Oh, I do know what it is. It's Linux. Duh.
Uh-huh.
Oh, bye, boot him.
Hey, Pulse Audio is working for him though. So
Open up on here.
Sound is great. Yeah.
your audio is perfect.
Plug your
Let
camera.
me. I don't know, man. Let me try stopping and starting it again.
There you go.
Hey, see what I'm saying? Hey,
So it's a Zoom issue.
I don't know, my friend.
The other
I
view
really
looked
don't know.
better.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, we'll run with it.
Are you running an unstable distro?
Yes, LTSs are completely unstable. I agree.
He just didn't zoom in properly.
Oh,
Anyway,
So I'm the only one running. Like I'm using Ubuntu Mate 1804, and I have no problems. So I'm like the only one.
No, you're
Well,
not the only one because
I had technically no problems. I just found things to complain about.
You do that really well.
That does sound like chicken.
I don't know what you mean by that. What does that mean?
He goes and looks for problems that aren't there.
he's a
And if it
kid.
works,
What do you
he says
expect?
it. Yeah, I know. He's still a teenager.
See what I'm
It is
saying?
wonderful,
Yeah.
though. It is wonderful.
I had no
running
problems.
Ubuntu's running fine anyway, really, to be honest.
I
It
have
worked
no
for
problem
me,
with it.
yeah. Until I tried to make a music CD, and then Brasero just froze. But
Really?
yeah,
Who uses CDs anymore, though?
Me.
Tostas.
you know, there are round things about yay big. Yeah.
Put a hole in the middle.
They make great clothes.
There you go.
I was
Actually,
making
have
a
a
random playlist to
grinding
play in
license.
my car for some summer
Okay.
tunes. So
Right.
maybe once or twice a year,
A
Rocco.
whole bunch
All
of
right.
great
I thought,
stuff.
okay, so I'll just, and it's like, really,
Nostalgia.
Brasero,
kicked in.
you're gonna hang on me?
Yeah. Yeah, that's bad. Oh well.
K3B is the best.
No, it's not.
It really is.
I would
It
normally
so
agree,
is not.
but that crashed
It
too,
is.
so I can't.
K3B?
I can't win.
Oh yeah, I've used that.
In 1710, it worked fine. So the problem with upgrading your latest version, you have to wait for the apps to catch up, and it takes time. That's what I've noticed 12 years doing this.
Mhm.
So it is what. Now with Linux Mint XFCE
Uh-oh.
on my ThinkPad, perfecto.
That's because it hasn't upgraded yet.
If you're using snaps or flat packs, then you could be pretty much running up to date apps anyway now.
Yeah, Brasero is not available as a snap, so I snapped.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Maybe that's why Mint is always so far behind in their packages. They wait to see what everybody else screws up, and then they follow.
Well, they release when
they're
ready,
LTS.
not necessarily a schedule. So hats off to them.
Well, they typically have it like 2 months after their
Yeah.
LTS, but they're always LTS only.
They wait for all the complainers like myself to scream, and then they fix it. But no, it's no big deal. It's one app I use once or twice a year, so it's no big deal.
Prophetic Linux Mint does not support snaps.
They don't.
Technically can if you install Snapd, but by default it doesn't have it.
Oh, by default, it's not okay.
But it should do if it goes 1804, yeah?
Yeah, but they remove it and they install Flatpaks instead. I don't know why. Yeah,
Ah, right.
yeah, that's
Because
strange.
they changed so much already that out of principle we're going to change some more.
Well, I've noticed that the integration into the GNOME Software Center and Ubuntu for snap packs and flat packs are just incredible. They're there. You can scroll down. You can have a look at what the source is, whether it's the Bionic source or whether it's Snap or Flatpak. It's great. Once they're installed, they're just in the Software Center. You just choose which one you want to type.
Yeah, I've tried a few
It's good.
snaps. They work. Has anybody else had problems with app image for Kdenlive? It keeps crashing on
run
me.
it.
No, as a matter of fact, the app image for Kdenlive has been the most stable
Wow.
that
Yeah.
I've used in Kdenlive.
It's crashed
If
on
I
me
use the
3
PPA,
times. Okay.
yeah, if I
Yeah.
use the PPA, it crashes.
Wow.
But the app image is pretty good.
It crashed on me to like 3
I
times
did
in a
that.
row. Oh.
Which one did you download, Toss? Because that happened to me too. Did you download the one?
Whatever the new one is, 1804, right? Yeah.
Well, there's 1804.1, but there's also a beta that's technically on the same thing, but it's got a new refactoring engine. So if you have that,
That I don't know. Okay. I'll
Yeah,
take a look.
if you go to kdenlive.org, is it? Is that where you got it from? There's a
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
where you gotta
Okay.
get the app image. But the
No, I'm not-
the app image is actually like pretty good. That's like their main release. Well, they did add a Flatpak recently.
Okay. But Peppermint OS revived my ThinkPad that had less than a gig
Cool.
of RAM.
Nice.
I got it
Glad to
running
hear
from
it.
2004. 5 had Windows XP. I had it in storage in the garage, gathering dust. I'm like, I wonder. I don't think GNOME's gonna work. Hey, let's try Peppermint. And
And I
first,
see you did a stream from it as well.
yeah, it was just an experiment. I figured this was gonna crash, but it didn't. It was sluggish, to be fair. But it wasn't. I didn't hook up a webcam because that would probably suck up another 500 megabytes of RAM, which I don't have in the thing. But that being said, the people who watched said they couldn't believe it. I said, well, thanks to ThinkPad, well, thanks to Peppermint OS and ThinkPads. But it worked.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do much on it, email, stream music, photos,
Well, there's 90% of what people do the internet on, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to edit videos on it.
10 seconds, not 10 hours to do those things.
Well, no, I'm not going to install Kden Live on that thing and render a video in six days, But it wasn't made for that. It's just a little toy, and anyway.
Well, I'm just glad I'm not into all this video editing. It sounds like a right headache. Mine just go out live, waltz and all. That's it. Next.
It's so simple, Seb. It's so simple, really.
Is it?
Yeah,
it's a simple process that takes forever.
Yes, that's what it is. That's why doing live events, I don't do any editing. Yeah.
Yeah, has anyone seen Dark One's last video? If they bleeped that video every vulgar word, you hear.
I agree, Joe.
It sounds like somebody had a heart attack.
It would just be one long beep. That's
I don't know why you're.
No, it'd be beep, Linux. Beep.
Hey man, what's your problem? Beep. I had a whole thing of mint chocolate ice cream.
Matt, give us the G-rated version of your point in the video.
I should have counted the F-bombs.
Well, G stands for garbage, right? No, I don't.
No, the point of that video
for Dark One, it stands for GNOME.
Yeah.
He's a fan of GNOME.
Garbage. GNOME is garbage, yes.
Wow, dude. Don't be trashing on GNOME.
Says the guy who is having problems with GNOME.
Of course I'm having problems with GNOME right now.
Are
that's
you really,
why we
Rocco?
need
Oh,
that's why we need Juno to come out.
What did I miss?
Chicken.
Who's not having a problem with their computer at all, even the slightest bit? Like not a single thing. Chicken, you put your hand down. We know you look for things.
Wow.
With Peppermint, I would say it's been peachy.
Mine's doing okay.
Except for Zero.
Right, except for Zero.
I didn't try Brazzero on Peppermint. Z, does Brazzero work on Peppermint? I haven't tried it.
It might take 2 days to burn that CD, dude.
I haven't used the CD in about 8 years, so I've no idea.
Okay. Well, I still have a stack of blanks right here if you want some.
Hey, look, it's small frisbees.
It's right next to the floppy drives he's got there, Zeb.
I actually do have one somewhere.
Yeah, if I move my head, you can see my pile of CDs not used.
Anyway.
Uh-oh, Michael's going to get the floppy drives out.
Oh, I have those too.
Oh, show off.
No,
I was going to say.
Oh, he's got the CDs.
He had to have a bigger one, didn't he?
Yeah.
I was going to say, Michael, where's
more than that.
Oh, my gosh.
5.25 floppies?
Derek, you aren't using CDs too, are you?
I occasionally use CDs.
Really?
I have a CD changer still in my car. I use them.
I don't have a CD player in my truck. I got.
Oh no! I have those, and I've had that same one where nothing has come out of it for about 4 or 5 years. It is a prop now.
You can donate them to tosstoday.com.
Please. This is probably 2 years old. I used about half of it.
You can donate it to tuxdigital.com/tosstoday's DVD needs.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I bought some maybe a month ago or something because I was doing a video on Plop. Did anyone use Plop before? Plop. No. It actually, if you've
exclamation. Oh, Plop. Yeah.
No, Plop. If you burn Plop to a CD and you've got an old computer, 32-bit, that cannot boot a USB, Plop will enable you to boot a USB with
what a name.
Yeah, well, I don't know what it stands for.
Plop, really?
Plop.
I'm thinking of the commercial plop, plop, fizz, fizz.
Yeah.
I'm not making this stuff up.
Believe me, it's Linux. I believe you. I'm sure Derek is still using dead beef.
Yeah, I love dead beef.
Well, good. I like it too when I eat my steaks. Thank you. No.
I'm still on cue.
Alka-Seltzer. No, plop, plop, fizz, fizz.
Yeah, it works well. So you can, instead of using
Yes, multi-boot USB. I can see. I'm reading it.
Yeah.
I just did a search.
So instead of burning, so I did a video on that. So people who have got an old, computer, all you have to do is burn one CD or DVD, and then you can just keep writing as many as you like to a USB and boot from there. It's much better instead of wasting a whole heap of DVDs all the time or CDs all the time. So,
except when you buy a computer that hasn't got a DVD drive.
Right.
Like I did 2 years ago, because I thought, what's the point? And then
yeah,
two weeks into buying it, I thought, I'll install Windows 7. You can't install Windows 7 on a USB 3, not without like creating some magical flipping put this.
Yes.
And it doesn't have USB 3 support.
So I went and bought an external DVD drive and thought, yeah, here we go. No, it's a USB 3 external DVD drive, so it still doesn't flipping work.
Right.
Well, I had to take out I only got two. If I want to leave the fans that came with the case in, I only have 2 slots, and one slot is for a spinning drive that I have, and the other is the icy dock for the SSDs. So there's no room for a DVD
form
drive.
What factor are you using, Rocco?
The regular the ATI or whatever it is, the ATX. I mean.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I purchased a computer. Well, I put together a computer, and the case came with a CD drive, I think, or DVD drive or whatever. Ooh, and then I think I used it twice, and then removed it.
Yeah, I mean,
I haven't cared since.
I had one in there, but it was just so unused. I never used it, so it was kind of just taking up space.
I never even opened the door to my computer until I got the new devices to replace the drive.
Well, how about this one? This thing here was thrown out by some factory, some guy squatting in a factory or something. Let me see. It's got a 2 terabyte hard drive with a 128 gig SSD. So I'm just working on that at the moment. It's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's a monster. So
no doubt it's plugged in with the lid off.
No doubt.
Yeah, and you put your hands in it with the electrical, electrical stuff on there.
Yeah, but Zeb, I have heard so many different trains of thoughts on that. Whether you should have it plugged in or you shouldn't have it plugged in when you're working on it. Some people say you shouldn't have it plugged in because no electric current, and then other people say you should have it plugged in because it is actually grounded with the power cord in it.
The gist of the matter is that either way could potentially cause some form of electrical damage, but either way is also so
unless you put in the cord and then unplug it from the wall, and therefore it's grounded. And there's nothing in there. It's not connected.
Well, I know that I would rather damage the motherboard with a bit of static than have me shoot across the room because I touched something. It's a no-brainer for me.
Just repaired in Florida where there's a lot of humidity and less static. But
got to switch it. Got to switch where the plug is.
Tap the power button once you shut the power off to it too, because there's, even if you unplug it and you think you're safe and you touch the case to ground yourself, there still might be current through the caps and everything else in the board. So you got to tap the power button to kind of drain that off. Every so often you see the fan, the CPU fan go. Whoop.
I just put my tongue right on the connectors just to let it.
I did that live. Do you remember you doing that?
So you like to give your computer tongue? Gee.
Okay.
All right, we're not going down that road.
Yeah.
So anyway, Rocco, I did send you a message telling you that Pop OS by default has 7 extensions enabled out of the box. That's before I even put any extension. Now, normally on Ubuntu, I just run 3 extensions. I could get away with 1 if I really wanted to, but that's a lot of extensions enabled out of the box.
7's a
Colin,
boatload.
did you watch Chris Ware's video recently where he said 19 things you need to do when you install GNOME, and it was 19 extensions that he put in?
Really?
I'm not exaggerating. Go look.
That beats me. The most I've done was 10.
No, I can get away with 3.
Christ,
3.
19.
Is this the same? Is this the same Chris Weir though, who said that Ubuntu were nicking all your data?
I think that was
Yep.
Sometimes he makes videos that he admits to have not researched it, but people wanted his opinion. He's like, They wanted your opinion if you had researched it.
But I'll just babble on anyway.
It seems to me if you install and test that many extensions, by the time you test them, I could have distro hopped 4 times.
Okay, so I have 18 extensions installed. 3 of them are off, so I'm running 15.
Oh wow!
And they all work.
Why do you
They
need
all work.
Nice.
I don't
That's
know why
that's
you
some good.
You don't need them all. Colin.
It depends on the distro. It
I
depends on
run
the distro.
Peppermint with no extensions.
And Fedora, you need them.
There you go, Z. Yes.
Fedora, you need them.
Yes.
I've got 3,
But
and
I
one
mean,
of them is default.
like I got caffeine as an extension.
I don't use that.
I mean, you could use that as a program, but I have it as an extension. I got one to center the horizontal spacing, because I'm that way.
Don't need that.
Date and time format, so I can put my own date and time format on there.
Don't need
use
that.
the default.
Nope.
He's got another quick extension to his farm.
Get this. There's an extension to let me know when there's updates to the extensions.
Is that for real?
That is so for real. I have that installed. So
oh my god!
In the notification area, I get a notification
Jeez.
saying, "Hey, there's an update to your extensions."
God.
Well, that extension has been around for years, and I used to help work on it, and it's been around because the GNOME shell still.
Yeah, for the moment. Yeah,
I think Rocco's extension for OBS broke, but no.
Prophetic says, if GNOME crashed, I would die laughing.
It was a GNOME crash.
Yeah, no, it was not a GNOME crash. It was a OBS crash. No, okay, so this is what I'm saying. Like, I have had more problems with this. I mean, OBS never crashes, like just lately it's just been,
Is it an OBS snap?
it's not.
Is there an OBS snap?
Yeah. I don't recall having issues with OBS, Rocker. You were all right.
I've had it crash on me a couple of times, not recently, but it
recall, yeah.
Now, hey, I'm not saying it couldn't have been like partial GNOME, but it wasn't like nothing crashed on GNOME itself.
The only time I ever have OBS crash is when I record with like VP8 or VP9 in WebM. Like I have to use H.264.
Yeah.
There's like no other way I can do it.
I would have kept Ubuntu now. I just wish it was a little bit zippier. But I mean, it looked polished. I will give that it's stable, and it looked nice. It looked different, but it just wasn't as snappy as what I'm used to, even with 4 gigs of RAM. But
I don't like the way they did the TKL.
You needed the extensions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll speed it up. Thank you. Yeah.
You asked how many are having any problems, but how many are on 1804 tonight?
Yeah.
I quit 1804.
Really?
Yeah. Just 3 hours ago.
What'd you do? What'd you put on?
Elementary.
Right now.
Elementary.
Now I'm waiting for Juno.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
But right
Z
now.
Peppermint 8, is that 1804 or is that's not?
That's
Z?
still 1604. We're
Okay.
just in alpha testing now.
Got it. Okay.
Come on, chicken. You sound like you're a politician. Answer the question.
Oh, yeah. Right. Sorry. I was running like TrueOS earlier, which is like a free BSD.
It's no good.
God, I looked at that.
Use Linux on my computer.
It was not the best.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible.
It was one of the most ridiculous things I've ever tested.
No, TrueOS is the best BSD. That's just saying something about BSD.
I would go with. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But after that, I ended up just downloading Manjaro, tossing it on there, and I think I'm probably going to end up leaving it for literally anything.
Check out Ghost BSD. You'll like it a little better. It's got a traditional desktop XFCE or whatever. I mean,
is it like a ghost, or is it like a spooky ghost?
No, it's friendly. It's Casper. Yeah.
Okay.
So does Ghost BSD then have 10 programs that you can install rather than the usual 5?
Right.
Funny enough, BSD.
Wow.
Most of the things that run on Linux will run BSD. Like most of them are pretty fine.
What's the advantages of
got
BSD?
a lot better since I ran it then.
What's the advantage of BSD? Is there any advantage?
On the desktop, none.
Desktop, no, yeah.
So what is the advantage?
Yeah, what is it?
ZFS by default.
If you like California, I think that's where it's based out of. But
Well, if you want my experience with it, because I ran it on my laptop at one point for a good 2 weeks, and the experience was it uses more battery, it takes more effort to set up, it really has no like graphical abilities whatsoever. Like the best option we have is the Lumina desktop, and that, as sad as it is, is like
Not good.
together by a thread and.
It's not often. I remember testing it, and I try to be extremely patient and fair. But I was looking at them like to myself, "Oh my God, what are they thinking?" In the back of my seriously. But
they're really great systems, just not for the desktop.
I guess not.
The Lumina desktop is not the best desktop environment they have. They could install GNOME, KDE, XFC.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, I don't know why they go with that hideous desktop environment though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's made by TrueOS.
Right. And it's BSD license. That's another reason why they.
Well, they're uncool. They don't like virtual hugs or something, so they're out, man. You know, isn't that was them, right?
That's free BSD.
That's free BSD.
Oh, that's free BSD.
They're based on. I don't think they follow the same code of conduct, though, do they? They have a
different. I hope not.
TrueOS is based on FreeBSD, and TrueOS doesn't have a code of conduct that I know of.
Oh, okay.
Well, I conducted myself in not using it there.
Yeah. Well, everybody needs to go watch Colin's video for the Pop! OS if you want to install Pop! OS so that you don't blow up your complete system. Okay? Just saying.
Rocco, you got to talk to us, man. We got you.
There should there not be some kind of warning somewhere?
I mean, I think it would be nice.
I mean, somewhere, anywhere on the website.
Well, it is called Pop.
Somewhere to say, you know what? If you do this, you're probably gonna
I'm
up your whole grub.
I think should be like, hey, you got another system on here. Do you want to keep it? Well,
look in the installer right before you install it. There should be something to say, you know, this doesn't use grub, blah blah blah. If you do use grub, it'll blow up the grub.
Ooh,
don't do it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, there should be something.
That's
I would
bad.
think.
That's bad. AKA poo poo your grub.
Yeah, like I mean, I love Pop! OS. I just think there should be a.
You're right. They should have something out there to tell people what's going on. Unless they don't care, maybe that's, like I said, an underlying thing where they're just looking to wipe out everybody's drives. And
no, they're not. No, it's nothing malicious. It's just.
No, I'm being silly.
Well, they probably figure if you wipe it out, it's time to buy a Pop! OS computer. System 76.
I was going to say they are looking at it from a hardware manufacturer point of view. Like, what are you going to install on a manufacturer's?
If they were only looking at it as a hardware thing, they wouldn't release an ISO at all.
Yeah, they do look at it starting wise from a hardware manufacturer, but once you release it out into the wild and you tweet about it and you say, hey, go check the live images out, you know, go do this, then you're opening it up to everybody, and I just think there should be a warning on it. That's all.
I wonder if anybody.
I think Ski's got it right in chat. Ski said it perfectly.
You're right, Ski. There should be a Rocco warning on there. Yes, I agree.
The Rocco, yeah. There should be the family warning. You see what I'm saying? You know?
Yeah.
Matt, you just made that sound awful proprietary sounding the way you described that too. It's from a manufacturer, right?
No,
but you know, honestly, I wonder if anybody has ever said anything to them about it. You know, because they're usually pretty receptive to when people, you know, contact them about things, from what I understand.
I mean, they make good systems from what I understand.
Yeah,
solid. A little pricey, but they seem solid. So,
well,
they give great support too. So, and that's part of what you're paying.
Yeah, a little bit of transparency couldn't hurt.
Yeah.
Microsoft.
Most people aren't trying to boot between 15 different partitions and installs like Rocco, though, and that could be part of the problem.
Wow. So it does need the Rocco warning.
I mean, you are a little exotic in what you do. So.
I was going to say, Rocco.
How many partitions do you have, Rocco?
Next topic. We have.
Bring your volume up a little bit.
I'm just going to go ahead right here and plug like UEFI in general. Like, if you're going to be using UEFI,
goofy
like EFI, you guys really should take advantage of like the ability to manage it on the UEFI level, so you don't actually have to run into these problems so often, because you can just bypass it completely.
But I've learned how to fix
If you
says the geek.
distro set up already, like why not just go ahead and do that?
Okay, so we'll have to get together, and you'll have to show me how to do that.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Chicken? I'm interested in what you're talking about.
Okay, so like, so you have grub, which like you boot up, you go into grub, and grub tells it like what kernel to boot from where. Boom, like it's booting that up.
Yeah.
Well, like before you even get grub, it's like when you in your flash drive and you click a button to boot specifically to that. That's like the UEFI level. That's like what to do on a hardware level, not a software level.
And where it comes really useful is when you've got something like Manjaro. If you've got a Ubuntu running your grub, it will not write the grub part correctly for Manjaro. So you end up having to do a faulty custom or something or
I
other.
found another way to get around that as well, by the way. I know I mentioned making another EFI, but there's another thing that you can do in the installer that I only now realized is that you can actually specifically select the partition that's already EFI and mark it to be a like non-use part. Like it won't even like consider the partition. So you won't just be leaving it blank how normally, you know, you just don't even touch that disk or those partitions. You have to specifically select it not to be recognized as an EFI partition.
Oh, right. Okay. That sounds quite clever.
And it only works sometimes, so just be careful.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
The only thing I don't like about the EFI boot manager is it doesn't always keep what you tell it, because I do distro hop in like ridiculous amounts. I always like the peppermint EFI bit there. So I'll go into the EFI boot manager and tell it exactly where to find peppermint, and it will go there, let's say, as number 8 in the UEFI table. Reboot, and number 8's not there anymore.
Wow.
So unless you install it and it works, I can't find a way yet to add an entry that sticks to the UEFI boot manager. So unless I'm doing it wrong,
I think
my UEFI, I've got 4 Ubuntu's plus Pop OS. I installed Manjaro Cinnamon because I wanted to have a look at the new Cinnamon. Now that Manjaro is, because that was the last one that was installed, is running the boot. Now that actually is quite a good boot menu because it actually remembers the last input.
Yep.
So whatever you choose, it'll come up as by default that last one that you chose.
Yeah. So what you need to do, all of you guys that dual boot, make sure you install Manjaro as the last OS.
That's right.
Yes, but we're always installing something. So
yeah, but you do realize, Colin, that remember last boot is a 30-second fix to your grub line. When you can literally edit grub CFG, and you change one entry, add one entry, and it will remember last boot.
Wow. Seems to me that the only safe grub is the kind you eat.
But does Grub Customizer, does that...
No, forget Grub Customizer. I'll drop it into the chat. It's a very, very simple fix.
All right. Okay, sure.
2 secs. You carry on and I'll find it. Here we go. Boot to last grub.
Well, I noticed that, and I think it's the first time I noticed it, that when Ubuntu updates, if I go to shut my machine down, I go to restart, there's a little checkbox now there, and maybe it was there before and I just never noticed it, but there's a little checkbox to install pending updates. And you check that, and it kind of takes you through a Windows 10-esque update process.
I noticed that too. Yeah, that's new. It wasn't there.
Hey, Rocco, guess what?
What?
Coming to you live from Fedora, we've had that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it was like so not cool because I really don't dig the whole, we're going to update your computer without you being able to do anything. Yeah, exactly. Well, I didn't know what it was.
it threw me off. At first, I thought maybe, I had some kind of virus or something. This isn't the Ubuntu I know.
I just thought it was going to install them before it shut down. Which was cool, you know what I mean? But then it didn't. It just shut down and installed it on the way back up. And, you don't have there's nothing to do. You just sit there and wait.
It's pretty weird.
That's weird.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess if you're not used to it, even though I use Windows 10, I'd be like, wait a minute, this is not Windows 10. Why is it doing it? But I don't know. I guess that is kind of strange.
You know, I think it's really interesting that a company who doesn't promote transparency names their system Windows. Something you can look through. It seems a little odd, don't you think?
Well, in the past, transparency wasn't a problem, but Windows 10, yeah.
Well, they just put some curtains up. It's
yeah,
yeah, curtains.
Kind of like what you got behind you be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Zeb, that in which OS is that? Any OS that it's a default grub,
That
isn't
works
it?
in any grub file.
Yeah. Okay. So that one controls the UEFI, is it?
No. This will just mean that if you've got grub installed, that will make it remember the last OS you booted to.
Okay. All right. I'll try that. Sounds good. All right.
I just realised I put that private to Colin. I'll just put it in the Zoom chat because it's too complicated to put it into the main chat window. It's fairly straightforward though.
I know there's a, well, I don't know if it works on Linux, but I know they have it for unfortunately, the Windows side. If you want a dual boot where there's a software program, it's a Grub2 program that you can set it up with that. You can even change the background of the actual Grub wallpaper. And then this one.
You know where else I can do that?
Fedora.
Nah, Deepin.
Deepin's got good grub control though.
I do like that.
Theirs is really good, really nice, I must say.
Pretty slick.
So grub.
Go ahead, Colin.
Rocco. Grub is installed anyway under UEFI, isn't it? Because it's still grub at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, grub can do UEFI, and it's used for BIOS as well.
Right. Grub's not required though.
Yeah,
because all you got to do is look at Solus. That doesn't use grub.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like a honey badger. They just go. They do it. They don't care.
But the UEFI is good because you don't have to do any update grub or anything when you install under different partitions because it's just automatically recognized.
Yeah, if it runs the installer properly, it will update the UEFI information.
Yes, which I've found it does. Yeah.
Well, you know what's
nice?
Is very handy. Is once you get all those EFI partitions set up everywhere and then you run like updates on all of them, you get to see like all of your listed OSs like fly through on the screen as you update. It's beautiful actually because it tells you what it's doing, but it's also like, hey, by the way,
it's a work
here's
of
all of your crap.
So I installed XFCE on a drive the other day. Had it from booting up fine. It obviously took over control of the grub, so I was using the XFCE grub. I just installed Kubuntu this afternoon, and now the XFCE hard drive or the grub menu entry is not there for the XFCE drive. Even after doing, and that's after a fresh install, and even after doing the update grub, it doesn't even list the XFCE drive.
Wow.
So I can't even get into it.
These are both like Ubuntu, right? 1804.
Yeah, they're both 1804s, yeah.
I've had issues in the past, but I thought all of this has been resolved, but where like if you install like two similar systems and like say they're sharing the same EFI, I'm pretty sure Ubuntu separates them though, but like they just reference the same thing, and sometimes it would just write over the other one, and so it can't find it at all.
Yeah.
On UEFI, no matter how many Ubuntus you have, you will only have one Ubuntu UEFI.
Yeah.
You'll have a Manjaro, you'll have a Fedora, you'll have a whatever.
That's what I don't like. I wish they did a better job at each one. Like, just even I know it's like a little extra work, but like, well, actually there's a reason they don't do it, but. Eventually, I'd like to see that just because it does become difficult.
Absolutely. I'm assuming, Rocco, you did a update grub on Kubuntu and it still didn't find it.
Still didn't find it.
Wow.
And I'm assuming you did OS Probers first, right?
Well, this install here finished the install. I didn't see it yet. It found the 1710 version that I have on a secondary drive, and it found the, like I said, the old Ubuntu budgie that was there that's not booting up. Yet on the GNOME grub, there's no, that budgie menu is not there. So I don't know. Maybe it's something like you said, Chicken, where it just found that old one and overwrote. Overwrote? Is that a word? Is that a word?
Yeah, overwrote. Sounds legit.
Overwrote.
We can make up words here.
You're right. You're right. We can make up words, but that's what it sounds like to me. That it overwrote the XFCE line, and it's now pointing to that budgie thing that doesn't even boot. So I don't know.
Yeah, they can get their wires crossed sometimes. I mean, because I've tried to have like every spin of Fedora installed at the same time, and I can tell you now that that kind of stuff will become a problem really quickly because they all work so similarly, even though they're different. And even if you specify that hey, this is this and that's that, at the end of the day, it's the same thing on the same system. It's easy for it to just get slipped up more or less. It's hard to keep a divide between those.
Yep. So there's my woes.
Woo.
Okay, there's a good question in chat about, is there a way to get SLI to work in Linux?
It depends on what level of support you want.
Well, let's just say you wanted to go and spend silly money and have two 1080 Ti graphics cards working in Linux.
Yeah.
Does it work as well as it does in Windows?
Well, it doesn't work as well as it does in Windows, but it's possible. It's very difficult and not very straightforward.
I don't imagine too many people spend that kind of money on 1080s and then don't run Windows. So.
And typically the only time having like a situation even close to that would just be if you're running pass-through anyway. Like for gaming and then installing Linux and expecting SLI to work.
Everything that I've seen so far points to SLI not working very well.
Yeah, no, you have to do everything yourself, and it's only like very basic like hardware reference function. Like it's not going to give you anything.
NVIDIA is not a nice player.
Yeah.
They don't really need to play.
You know what?
They're so big.
We're the players, okay? They don't need to play.
You know what Linus Torvalds says about NVIDIA? I won't go there.
Friendly.
He shares his
just YouTube his name in NVIDIA.
Let's just say he gave them his love finger. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have that as my wallpaper, that particular photo.
That's amazing.
That Linus finger.
So I got a question.
42.
Like
Cosmic Cuttlefish.
Really? Yeah, it's so much better than Bionic Beaver.
Yeah, it's so much better.
Yes.
I kind of like it. Yeah.
Like the next one's gonna be like Derelict Dobo. You know what I mean? Like, really?
I'm waiting for Dirty Donkey. No,
it's like ridiculous. I don't understand. Like, what would? Okay, so let me ask you guys a question.
Dynamic Dingo.
What would you guys have picked for the next one?
Camel, because everyone's got the hump with it.
I would go with Chameleon.
I would have went with Cat, dude. I mean, Cosmic Cat. That's awesome.
You can't do Chameleon because of Sousa. I mean, that would be strange.
I would have went with
Derek Gecko.
Charming Cow, so it fits Derek's deadbeat flair, but no.
Chameleon, because it's them converting one interface to fill and look like another interface.
Chameleon Cougar. Oh.
Chameleon, because it represents that some things are hidden within Ubuntu.
I would have gone with like Crapulent Cayman or something.
Right. Oh well. They say that the cuttlefish is very smart because it can change colors.
I can change colors too if I hold my breath.
It can also go translucent.
Hold your breath with an electrical socket in your mouth. Yeah.
Those are good results right there.
It's ridiculous. So, Michael, how did the stream go, man?
Oh, pretty good.
It was exciting.
Sleep.
Yeah.
Why are you half asleep, Michael?
Was it 4.5 hours again, or was it a little shorter this
It
time?
was only 3.5 hours this time.
Okay, I'll catch the replay.
And get this.
That's what I did last
I got a
night,
news
I
flash
think.
for you. Get this. He announced on his stream today
I know what's coming.
to just turn it on and mute it and let it run.
Not what I said.
Turn it off on purpose, though.
That is not what I said. I'm saying if you
did,
already
because,
watched.
all right, the rest of it is so you'll get the YouTube.
Well, no, I'm saying if you've already watched the stream and you choose not to watch the posted episode, if you just turn on the posted episode and don't watch it because you already watched the stream, which makes sense, there is still credit to the algorithm about the watch minutes that you give the channel.
Really?
Same difference.
That's all I said.
Really?
That's how they get you.
So feel free to do so. I didn't suggest people to do it. I just let them have the information that it was helpful. I didn't.
Oh,
suggestions.
it's helpful if you do it.
It's helpful, so therefore it would be a suggestion for them to do it.
Sounds pretty scandalous.
Okay, here's an example. I am a part of Destination Linux, but I'll still open the video and let it play.
You mean you don't watch it back?
No, all of it. No.
Zeb, how awake do you think he's going to be tomorrow morning?
He's not.
Better than last week.
I'll be perfectly fine. I'll be right at Bishopfield.
No, Michael,
Like you were last week.
for that show.
Hey, I turned it on at the end.
He did turn it on.
Yeah.
You should have seen him before we went live.
It was like the zombie apocalypse.
Yes. Yep.
Well, I didn't have enough sleep last night. I'll get, or not last night. I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever.
Last week.
Tuck
Was
zombie.
that a teenager or what?
Whatever.
Whatever.
Kirby wants to know if Linux will make the desktop of the year before the meteor hits Earth.
I would bake on it.
That's a tough one, Kirby. I mean,
multiple meteors have hit Earth, so.
When a Arch-based Linux distribution is #1 in DistroWatch, I would say it's probably not going to happen. So.
No, it's probably not going to happen.
Well, Linux apps coming to Chromebooks is good. So we'll is goodish.
The spike in growth on DistroWatch is what leads me to believe it's purely like artificial.
Oh yeah, of course.
I've been looking at just
DistroWatch. It's always purely artificial.
Yeah, artificial.
It's true.
But
Matt,
no,
it's true.
Scrolling down DistroWatch, and I'm thinking there's one thing DistroWatch needs that would actually be useful to like anyone, and is a little dice function that lets you randomly select a distro to install.
It already does that. There's a random distribution button.
Yeah, there's a button on it already. Yeah.
Yes, there's a button that says random distribution, top left-hand corner somewhere.
There's something very sus about the spike in Manjaro to the top there, and it just keeps going.
Yeah, so I didn't want to tell you guys about it. I've been here all along.
Ellen, you haven't figured out.
I think the only thing that DistroWatch really needs is like to join the 21st century.
Yeah. You think?
So, Michael, an algorithm that works?
Or maybe an update to the website would be cool.
Or stop calling it ranking and just say trending or something. Or a website that doesn't look like it was in 1992.
Speculation Watch. There we go.
Or
Speculation Watch.
Or organization's system that doesn't have random drop downs that you click, it automatically chooses things, and then also has a search button or a go button next to it. Like, pick one. Just pick a function.
They just need to use a metric that can't be gamed. They should do like Google Trends, search trends, or something instead of page hits, which anybody can create a bot to game.
How about a report on
Which
install?
apparently somebody's doing right now for Manjaro.
We should just take the top 100, make a bot for all of them, and just see which bot wins.
I think they should go by the top 100 Linux YouTubers like us here and what we say, and that'll be perfectly.
I'm probably at like the bottom of like the 300 ish. Like,
No,
don't think there's that many of us, but it might be.
Yeah, I don't.
By
think there's
now,
that many.
maybe. I don't know.
In fairness, if you look at their list, it says page hit ranking, but when you look at the days, it's trending in the past from whatever. 6 months.
Michael.
Scrap is in the house. Mobile.
Scrap Joe.
Scrap Joe.
Oh, look at that! He's all dressed up.
What's happening?
What's happening, man?
Yeah.
Scrap Joe.
Can't hear
You got no audio, brother. No audio.
We can't hear you, mate. No audio. Interesting, coming from a guy who's a master with audio. We can't hear him.
Wait, you ain't lying.
Hey, Michael, do you upload your videos with like VP8 or VP9 or do you use...
Typically, just H.264.
Okay. Does YouTube like reconvert it into VP8 or VP9? Okay. See, I'm not at that level yet, so I've had people like in my comments be like, I can only watch this in 360p. Could you please upload in a free format? And I'm like, I am, but I'm not important, and thus YouTube serves you H.264.
Well, the reason why you give them H.264 is because that's the one they like the most for retranscoding.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, I cannot do anything.
Yeah, it does WebM, MP4.
Yeah. MP4 is good.
Yeah.
MKV is all right. I've used it before.
Yeah.
That's a good container.
Yeah.
I usually use MP4 for everything.
That's what I do. It seems stable.
I prefer MKV for my own content, but I use MP4 to upload to YouTube because it likes it the most.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And also MKV has like built-in subtitles, chapter structure.
But none of us are using like the free, containers or.
Well, that's because it's terrible.
Yeah, we're all using proprietary garbage.
Well, isn't audio okay?
MKV is
audio
open
is
source,
okay, yeah.
and MP3 is also open source. Or
Yeah,
open
MP3 is
culture.
There's no reason to have they had said about Destination Linux having an OGG feed, but there really is no reason to have an OGG feed.
No,
not with MP3 being open now. So
well, the license expired, right, for MP3 last year or something.
Last year, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's why it doesn't really matter anymore.
Right.
You ever wonder if there's just like one guy who sits on the patents page and like refreshes it just to see what expires? Just like
Probably.
Well, this kind of thing, it was like I think people put it on a calendar waiting for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was announced like 10 years ago.
There's a website, Expiration Watch. That would work.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that. Yeah.
Patent
Watch. Yeah.
So, Zeb, when did you say Peppermint's going to switch over to 1804?
Probably in the first 2 weeks of June. It might be a little bit longer now because the main developer's just having to take a week off to go and do something else.
Do me a favor, call them and say, make sure that Brasero works. We'll say and switch in, okay?
Make sure what?
Brasero works.
Brasero works. Yeah.
Ask him, can I burn CDs? I know I'm a dinosaur.
K3B.
But it would be nice to have. I mean, I tried K3B. It didn't work either. That's actually looks better than Brit, but it didn't work. You know what worked? XF Burn.
Well, I always had.
It doesn't write CD text, so.
I have the issue with XF Burn that you do with Brasero. XF Burn has never worked for me.
Wow.
It's always an error, and I always have to chuck out a disk and start again with Brasero.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that is. Don't know what.
Hey, Homer, what's going on?
What's up, Homer?
Fine. Guess what? I'm still running Fedora 27.
Oh, you didn't update the 28, man, or what?
No, I'm totally happy with this, and I totally hate this at the same time. It's really good.
You love it and hate it, just like KDE with me.
Mm-hmm. How dare you?
Yeah, I love KDE and I so hate it sometimes. It's not even funny.
Some little things like, I don't know, Chrome sometimes just freeze or then it's Wayland. One of them.
Yeah.
So, happens.
Probably Wayland.
Actually, I have to do a Kubuntu review, so that's
why
I have to. Yeah, I have to.
Whoa. Have to or get to enjoy the greatest distro ever.
Oh, yeah. Whatever, dude.
You're welcome.
I have to struggle through a Kubuntu review.
Wow.
I think Rocco ran out of Tylenol, didn't you?
That's hurtful.
Well, there you go,
Look.
Rocco. You've just been exonerated. Read the last message in chat.
What?
Oh, if your distro ain't broken, you ain't doing it right. So you
See?
must be doing it right.
See?
You
Derek
must be doing
knows.
it right.
So for all 300 plus distros that you've probably tried, Rocco,
He's
Hey.
broke everyone.
I said they were right. There should be a Rocco warning on some of them distros.
only specific to you and nobody else.
No, dude, no, I'm being dead serious though. I have some problems and issues that nobody has, and I don't understand. It's not like I got crazy hardware or you know what I mean. Like I got regular, newer hardware. I don't understand.
Let me ask you this: Did you enjoy? I know it was brief, but did you enjoy Ubuntu Unity? I know it was brief, but
dude, I said that I didn't even like Unity. I didn't even try Unity.
Oh.
I installed Unity, did a video on it, and was going to publish it. And the next day they said they're killing it.
Okay, so what was your thoughts on? Because I don't know. I don't remember.
It's great.
I actually got used to it. Like when I first used it, I thought it was terrible.
Okay.
But then I made myself use it for a couple days, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I can dig that. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
The menu went into the, I'm a big theme guy.
Yeah.
You know, the menu comes out and it like just completely integrates into the panel.
Yeah.
Seamless.
Right.
You know,
it was smooth.
Absolutely awesome.
Integrated.
Yeah. I felt the same way you are when it first came out 6.7. It took a while to get used to, but it grew on me because it flowed a lot smoother than GNOME 3 did.
A lot smoother than GNOME.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, there's nothing stopping you from using it now. You can use it. I did a video on it, and it got some pretty good interest.
But what they say is you're not going to continue to get the full complete Unity experience because some parts are going to be not working right.
Well, I don't know. I've seen which parts. I don't know.
Well,
which parts
Compiz is the biggest issue.
Yeah, nobody's working on that one anymore.
Yeah,
there's Compiz Fusion, but the Compiz that Unity uses is made by Canonical. Compiz Fusion is a fork of the old Compiz that doesn't have any of the fixes for Unity.
Yeah,
and has all of the absolutely worthless garbage that Compiz had. Hey, do you want your mouse to have fire flaming around it? Oh,
I kind of like that though. I kind of like that.
That's exciting, Michael. Come
that
on.
and the wobbly windows.
Yeah, it's fantastic in 19.
Hey, wobbly windows is good if it's implemented right. You know who does wobbly windows perfect?
KDE.
KDE does wobbly windows absolutely perfect. Like when you would do Compiz,
it's very subtle.
Yes, when you would turn it on in Compiz, you could mess around it, but me personally, I could never get it to where I could mimic KDE's version of it. You would go, and the whole window would stretch like Jello or something ridiculously stupid. You know what I mean? Like that's stupid. Okay, and yet you go into KDE and you turn on wobbly windows, and all you get is just like a little wobble with it to say that you moved it. Perfect.
Okay.
But
absolutely perfect.
You can extend that wobble though if you want to in KDE. You can
if you want to make it like Jello, you totally can.
Yes, but the default setting for it is absolutely perfect.
But does KWin allow you to draw fire on the screen and have rain puddles on the desktop and all that?
No, it doesn't.
That's not fun.
Unfortunately, it doesn't do. Actually, there's plugins for KWin that you probably could do that. I don't know if they were ported to 5 though.
Barbara said good night, by the way.
Oh. Good night, Barb.
Good night, Barb.
Good evening. We'll see.
So KDE does some things very well, but
so it sounds like Rocco that if Rocco was still being supported, you would probably keep it
for Unity.
Yeah,
I would be on Unity right now. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Give it a try, Rocco.
It's great.
Give it a try. There's a Unity one, 1804 now. I reckon it runs all right.
I don't know. I mean, 1604, I had it on 2 machines. It was absolutely perfect. I was stunned.
I was going to say, I'm running the 1804 right now.
Matt, your audio's low. What did you say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm running the 1804 Unity spin now.
Are you?
Yeah.
And it's good?
Yeah.
Any issues?
No, nothing major that I've noticed. I mean, the menus pop out. Everything works fine. The only thing that like Michael mentioned, if you don't download the comps config settings manager and screw around with comps, because that will break. So
isn't there a Unity extension for GNOME, like something called Unite?
Unite, but
does it work?
No, it doesn't. Like, it changes a few things. Like, for example, it takes the time out of the middle and to the right, and it adds different. It's better, like system array stuff and things like that.
I was just curious. Okay.
Yeah, it's just improvements to like the existence of the top thing that they did. Like, the top layer that Ubuntu did was like not fully Unity like, and this one just goes a little farther.
But does anybody really think that Unity is going to go away and die? I mean, we still have GNOME 2. That's Mate. We still have Trinity, which is KDE 3. Unity's going to continue.
It depends. It's not going to be in the same.
Yeah, it'll be in a different form, maybe a different name, but.
Well, I mean, Unity 8 is being maintained, but Unity 7 is not really. Like, there is that Ubuntu flavor with Unity, but it's like we don't really know how long it's going to last, if it will last.
Yeah. It's a limited shelf life on that mix of Unity 7.
Yeah, it's just a garage distro. It's not an official flavor of Ubuntu.
So when I install Unity Session in Ubuntu GNOME, that's Unity 7 session?
7.
Okay. Okay.
So Unity has the Unity flavor is not allowed to be a flavor officially without having a certain amount of track record of existence. So in order to be a flavor for Canonical, you have to prove to Canonical and to the Ubuntu community teams that you have consistent development and you will be there for a while before you can actually request to be a flavor.
And you think that may happen?
They claim that they want to do that. Okay. We don't know I don't know if they will or not, but they said that they
How many people are working on that, Michael?
I don't know a full number, but I think it's like 5.
It's not very many.
No.
It's more than XFCE, though, isn't it?
I think it's about the same. I think there's like 3 or 4, maybe 5 of XFCE.
Yeah. All they need is one Martin Wimpress to join the team, and they'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Did you guys see that he put out a video, his YouTube channel?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought it was awesome because, like, who better to tell you the new features, the ins and outs of every stinking feature of Mate but him, you know?
I'll have to send him an email. I said, Martin, fix Brasero, please. No, but
well, you know what was
that's great? A good gnome out.
Just beyond the video.
I'll file a bugs, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I will. Well, then they should have the Mate CD burner tool or something, you know. But I mean, the one thing about Brasero, it has a nice UI, has a simple Matero. There we go. I like that. Hey, Matero, what's the matter with you? No, but I like that Matero.
Kirby wants to know if there are any new DEs on the horizon.
Michael, wasn't there one that was mentioned during your stream?
Yeah, the Jade desktop.
What is that?
Did somebody say Java?
No.
Jade is awful.
I haven't heard of it.
Oh, wow.
I've heard the name.
Had somebody asked me about it. I looked into it briefly. It's not something that looks like it's ready for use at all. So.
It looks like
it does some really weird thing where it's got like the titles of the applications are always there on screen, and as you hover over it, a menu drops down, and it tries to do all sorts of weird and wonderful, clever stuff. And it took me about 45 minutes to work out how to get rid of the stupid woman in the background.
Sounds like Externos.
Yeah, Externos was weird like that.
Yeah.
Nice looking system, but terrible in most everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we need any new desktop environments.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
Like
they just need to fix the ones that are out there.
Really.
Yeah, we don't need any more.
Yeah. Well, can we just fix Pulse Audio for crying out loud?
I know,
it's 2018. I mean,
yeah,
really?
Dolphin, where are you? Let's get on that.
But aren't you on a new one with this Manakawawari thing, whatever it's called?
Yeah, I am.
I installed Blank on this morning.
Yeah. What's your take on it?
It's not bad. It doesn't have a Windows button or super key for opening menus or anything, but
it's a keyboard.
We can't
join Plasma in like last year.
Which didn't have one for how long?
I was very disappointed to find out that Plasma Kubuntu has a double click on default.
Oh,
oh, you're welcome, sir.
Perfect.
I was totally disappointed.
Now
It's a
you
better
have to
thing
go
to
in
do.
and fix it rather than we have to go in and fix it. Yeah.
I guess.
Hey, do you know where that's located? The fix for that?
In Plasma?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not in Dolphin, so don't look for it in the file manager.
No, it's input keyboard.
It's deep in the settings.
Settings, inputs, keyboard. Yeah.
Well, that's the good thing about
Studio.
KDE. You can get to any one setting you can get to probably from 3 different places. So
Ubuntu Studio, I didn't think the super key was working in that either. And then I went and looked in the shortcuts, and it was either Alt Escape or Super Escape. I can't remember. So I changed it to the super key, and it's fine now. But I thought that was an odd selection that they thought to use for this, because I'm tapping. Oh boy, that's one of my favorite things to use, and it's there. It's just it's under a different shortcut sequence. So it makes me wonder: is KDE truly just not have one, or is it just that
No, it has one.
shortcut difference?
No, the super key function in Kubuntu or KDE Plasma is a workaround hackery thing.
Yeah.
So technically, yes, it works, but it's the shortcut you put into the system to tell it to do it is not super key.
No, it's Alt F1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is super weird, but it's also because that was actually a standard shortcut that was created like 20 years ago.
Well, what's funny too is I had on my Peppermint machine, which is the one that's all tore apart here, I had that wireless keyboard and touchpad mouse. It's a Logitech, and that thing wouldn't work with the super key like it normally would with a regular keyboard and mouse setup on Peppermint. It actually had to touch the mouse button at the top of the board to make it work to open up. And I looked at the shortcuts, and I pointed the shortcuts as super key, but it still would. It recognized it as the mouse button on there.
It's possible that because doesn't that keyboard have a function too?
I don't remember. It's been a while since I used it now.
Okay. Well, there's possible that some of the Bluetooth keyboards, because that's a Bluetooth one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's possible that some of them, they send a different signal. So like there's specific signals for each keyboard and each key on each keyboard, and also different keyboards have different values of the signals that they send. So if it's not sending the exact key that is that signal is found as technically it's not called super in the signal keys values, it's called mod 4, and if it isn't sending mod 4, it won't work.
Okay.
Whereas most keyboards, especially like USB keys, will always use mod 4.
It's sending Chanel number 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
But see, that might be native to that distro then, because I had other distros on there that it worked fine. So I'm assuming
it could be that it's not detecting it properly then.
Yeah.
EB in the house.
A silent EB. There's a blessing.
Wow. EB, what's the matter? You got no audio?
Lovely to see you all. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you're working.
Hope you're all well. I just thought of dropping in and say hi to one of the most suspicious bunches and group of people on
That's hurtful, boy. That's hurtful.
Did you, EB, did you hear Joe's trucking woes?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know why.
I sent you a message actually too through YouTube, but I guess it didn't go through.
Really?
A real doozy here. I decided to get impatient and update my Mate. I won't go through a whole sequence, but the long and short of it is when I wiped it to put a fresh install on, I forgot to grab the Steam file out of the .local, and the only backup I had I gotten rid of recently, and I forgot to make another one, so I am kind of dead with the profile. I have to start all over again.
Oh, well, bless you. That's awful, isn't it? Done it myself many times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear.
But you know what? That's part of this. I guess it's the lessons learned with this too. No matter how long you're on something, things still happen, and you get in a hurry or whatever. And I don't know. And I'm still, you know, quite honestly, for as long as I've been playing on that game and stuff, I'm still learning things about it. So, I mean, it's as frustrating as it was, you know, it's a learning lesson.
The thing is, Joe, it's not all lost because all you've got to do is have a nice word in Zeb's show, like, and Zeb can do a full map coverage on the profile in about half an hour with his trucks. So if you just have a word with Zeb, and he'll do you a fully uncovered map and stick it in your local, job done. Because you know that Zeb's got a gazillion mile an hour engine in there. You know, he does Europe, the whole of Europe in half an hour.
Hey, that's an idea. I just need a 10,000 horsepower engine, and I could whip her.
Yeah, it's great fun. I tell you what, it's great fun.
I'll have my garage up in no time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-oh. Dog on the screen.
Yep.
Nice.
That's a big dog as well. That's a proper dog.
A boxer.
Oh, it's a boxer.
It's not as big as Michael's dog.
No.
Michael's dog's a mammoth.
That looked more like a staff than a boxer. Blimey.
No.
Yeah, I can see it now, but when I was first looking, I thought, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely a boxer.
Just talking on Joe's issue there, Zeb, don't you symlink all your stuff to an external drive on your Steam?
You can do it that way. I mean, I symlink it to my Peppermint drive, and then that way, as long as you. But the same thing can happen if I accidentally destroy my Peppermint drive or whatever. That's it. That's the whole of any games that you've got lost. You just have to learn what each game does because they don't all put it in the .pro file either. Or sorry, in the .local file. Some of them keep them somewhere else. So you just got to make sure you learn. But yes, you could. Before you started any new game, if you've got an external drive that's always going to be there, symlink ATS or ETS to that external drive, and in that way your profile will always be on that external drive and not on the home directory of the OS.
If you ever get bored of the game, you just nuke and pave it.
Say again.
Yeah.
Speaking of keeping our game libraries safe and making sure, you know, we've got nice, you know, custom portable directories and stuff, I've refined my my custom Minecraft launcher, and yeah.
Does it now launch a different game that's actually fun?
Does it launch Rocket League now?
But no, this was a fun project over the weekend. It's just a little bit of bash scripting, but it went out well.
But the man's in the house who can fix your controller woes.
Oh.
Yeah, Michael, you have any suggestion for Chicken's controller woes in Rocket League?
I do not.
Yeah, change distros.
I might need to change distros. There we go.
What controller stuff?
Okay, so the problems I'm having are I was gonna run Rocket League and I have keyboard and mouse and everything, but I use a controller. So you know, I plug in the controller, I launch Rocket League, I play. But then I wanted to play with someone else, and so I plugged in 2 controllers and I went to play. And then it was registering like the keyboard as like player 1, and then like player 2, if I press start on one of the controllers, that was player 2, and then the next one was player 3. Like I couldn't get it to where it was just the controllers. Like I couldn't even use the controllers because the keyboard was player 1.
That's very weird because there's possible that it could be just the input devices. You could disable the input devices. What kind of controller is it?
They're Xbox One controllers.
Ooh, are they the wireless kind?
No, they're USB.
Okay, so you don't use you use the only plugged in.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, the wireless would do that. But
does it normally register the keyboard as a controller?
Typically no, but because that's weird because I don't have an Xbox One to test that, but I've had it done that with the Steam controller because of the wireless part. When I plugged it in regular, it didn't do it anymore.
Oh, that's weird.
But it's
Maybe
supposed to create a guest account when you launch it.
Okay. I'll try reinstalling Steam, just clear it all and then redo it. Maybe I'll have some.
See you, Toss.
See you, Cameron. See you.
Yeah, bye, Toss.
Good night.
But going back to what Colin said about the sim links, I did that. I have now a 1 terabyte drive that I leave there and has all of my stuff on it, and I sim link to everything. So, well, I mean, to each folder. So it's probably like 25 symlinks, and it may be a pain in the initial setup to, create them and pull them over, but it saves so much headaches. And I can do that on any distribution that I install, on any drive, on any partition. And I have all of my stuff.
But now you've got Simple Note, it's just copy and paste. One for each line.
This is true. This is true.
My solution was to just have one installation of Linux and then keep it.
Right. Yeah, that's too easy, Michael.
That's boring.
Yeah. That is boring. Yeah, but I would love if I was better, like if I was like DOS Geek, I could, script something that would just automatically create the shortcuts for me, but I'm not that.
All you need to do is do a Google search, find someone who's already done that, and then
there's this website called GitHub. You just go rip somebody else's.
I was going to say, tonight. Actually, somebody else's.
I don't know where he is, dude. haven't heard from him.
That's all Ryan does. All those i3 configs, he gets them off of somebody's GitHub page and then says he wrote them.
No, he doesn't say he wrote them. He just I'll tell you,
he doesn't take credit for it now.
No, he does say he'll rip them off. He purposely says he rips them off. I mean,
well, that's what they're for anyway. So that's not
No, I needed mine because I had my display for him behind me.
And Ryan, it's all in good fun.
So you think?
Yeah, he takes it serious. There'll be a rap response about.
Yeah.
We're still waiting for your response, Rat.
Your response.
I'm going to be the bigger man. I'm just going to let it go.
EB, what are you running?
What am I running? Joe,
Yeah.
just do you really want to know? I'm right off.
Farron OS.
No. I did have a crack with Farron OS because I decided I wanted to have the perfect because there's a brilliant guy on the internet who's started a project to revive Windows XP, and it's called Windows XP 2018. Now, look, we all know XP is dead, blah, 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 yeah, and all the rest. But this is like a modern take on it. So it's like a beautifully gorgeous themed version of Windows XP, but with all the Windows 10 compatibility. So I thought, do you know what? You know, it's typical EB style. I'll have a bit of this, but I'm going to do my own on. So, of course, downloaded the old Farron, gave it a bit of the Barry McGuigan, did a bit of a mix-up. Oh, disaster. Horrendous. Loads of honestly, it's like when you really want a McDonald's burger and your mum says, look, don't worry. You're not having a McDonald's. I'm going to do you the perfect Big Mac. And when you get that burger, it ain't nothing like a Big Mac. You know what I'm saying? So I thought, right, here we go then. Let's. And I thought, do you know what? Let's do it myself. So I downloaded and installed the latest Linux Mint, 18.3, I think it is. And do you know what? I've XPized it, and I'm sitting here going, oh my God, it's gorgeous. It's amazing. And it really is. So I've got the best of all worlds. I've got a modern, popular, sleek desktop operating system that pretty much
looks like 1990.
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got the best of all worlds. Of course, most of your viewers will be like, Windows what? What? Excuse me? XP?
What?
But, I mean,
XP.
For old farts like me, it's absolutely brilliant. Joe, just so you know, you do realise that you can do a full cloud backup of all your games via Steam. And it's pretty much a one-click affair.
But it doesn't back up your profiles.
Does it not?
No.
Does it only back up the main game files?
Mm-hmm.
Right. I have all the game files, and as soon as I loaded Steam, all my games were listed there, and then all I had to do was point it to that separate drive, but the profile's gone.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's
Sorry, Zeb.
bad. Well, I have a confession to make. So I already told Zeb. So when I installed the XFCE Ubuntu that I was telling you about, you remember that Ubuntu Budgie drive that I said wasn't booting? So I had that in there, and I picked the wrong drive.
Oh, yeah.
And I wiped out my whole Origin PC Games drive that had all of my Battlefield 1 game and every game that I have from Origin on it. So when I tried to play Battlefield 1 the other day, and I went in and it wasn't even there. I was like, oh,
Excuse me.
oh yeah, yeah, that's bad.
You know what though, Rocco? You said you got an icy dock, right? I don't even have an icy dock. I go and loosen the 2 screws on the panel on the side there, and I keep unplugging the data and power cord on the drive so I don't accidentally do that, because I did that years ago once. Grabbed the wrong drive and wiped it.
Well, the only thing the icy dock doesn't work on is NVMe drives. So it doesn't help in that respect.
So how many years worth of profile did you lose on Battlefield?
Well, since it came out. So I don't know. It came out last year.
Ouch. Wow.
So
yeah.
Oh well.
Wow.
We've got a lot of work to build that back up again.
I've done every family photo and video before, and it took me a week to organise and get it all back off the disk, and that was quite many years ago, but I've done it twice. That's just distro hopping.
Well, Michael, I got a question for you, because the XFCE drive is still there, but I can't boot into it. So it is the first drive that I have encrypted ever, because I don't really encrypt anything. But I decided to encrypt this one to check it out. So when I installed Kubuntu, I went into Dolphin and I could see the drive, so I clicked on it, and it obviously asks you for a password because it says it's encrypted. But then it said it couldn't open the drive and had some type of error. Is that because of the encryption? Is that because Dolphin's not meant to open an encrypted drive? Or
it depends on what did it use for encryption? So it was LVM or something like that.
Yeah, you can recover it, Rocco. There are various tutorials on the web where you can recover LVM encrypted drives. It is possible to do.
No, I mean, the password thing, it could be just it doesn't have a driver built in by default to open it.
So it is possible. And Joe, did you completely destroy your drive? Because if you've formatted it and shredded it, then it's gone. But if you just overwrote the drive, all it's done is basically overwrote the file headers. So technically, you could recover your profile off that drive, even though it's got something else on. And again, there are loads of different tools available for you to do that.
There's really only one.
No, that is all I did. I just did a simple format. I didn't do a wipe or a kill of the disk. No.
And have you written to it since, though?
Well, when I put Mate on it. Yeah, I put in
It's gone then.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on where it wrote, because it's possible.
It depends. Sometimes you can, because don't forget, it only wipes the file headers unless you do a heavy duty shred of the drive. All it's doing is the actual file.
An OS on it.
Even if you write over it, you're not writing over the entire drive because it's not wiping anything.
Right.
It's just allocating.
It may well be that his files are stored in sectors that haven't been overwritten by the new operating system. In which case, those files are recoverable.
It's like a 50-50 whether it's gone or not.
Yeah. It's not. You know what? It's as much as it pains me. It's not that critical. I think I'd be more concerned if it was more vital stuff. So.
Do you want to save yourself a 4-hour headache to find out it's not there? Forget it. It's gone.
No, it's not even 4 hours. It's way more than that.
Well, there you go then.
Yeah.
When
it's gone. It's just
I had a drive one time that died, and it wasn't even me doing anything. Actually, no, why it was. Technically,
you do something dumb.
Well, I actually sorry for me that I ran a Ubuntu once.
Wow.
But actually what it was is that there was something, one of those computers, one of my old computers I had Ubuntu running, and I had my main drive mounted. And there was a bug in that version of Ubuntu where if you turn the computer off with the drive mounted, that drive would no longer be mountable.
Oh.
So and it was the main drive, so I couldn't get back to my old system. So I had to take another drive and had to rebuild the whole system while also taking that and just trying to recover files. And because the drive that was my main system was ridiculously huge, it took I think 9 hours just to scan for the files. So
wow.
And I had to have one of my laptops its only purpose was to just run this recovery thing.
Ski, that's so wrong, dude. That is so wrong. He said even Rocco warnings won't work unless you read them.
So in Ryan's case, we know that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen.
Manuals, warnings, it's all the same thing.
Yep.
Well, like I said, if the distros had a longer life to them, I probably would have never even moved or even thought about it because I was very happy on that one. And when I get curious, that's what I bought the other machine for, is to play with other distros on a separate machine and leave my main one alone. But I got 2 months left, and even with the point release, I mean, even it didn't matter if I forgot to do that file. It doesn't matter what I put on it; I was going to still kill it. So
stick with the LTS thing.
What's that?
Stick with LTS from now on. Don't do these 9-month interim jobbies.
Yeah, but what's funny is the 1710 that should, as far as I'm concerned, that should have been the LTS, and then they could have enhanced it a little bit or whatever with package updates or whatever they wanted to do instead of rebuilding the whole thing. I mean, I just what they did there. There's been I think there's a significant amount of changes in there that I don't know. As much as they look nice and I was excited about them, I actually like 1710 better yet by what I've seen so far.
Yeah, but that goes back to, like I said, where it's just not as, there's still little bugs in it, and it's just not as polished.
Yeah.
Overall as a system than 1710 was, and I don't know why. I mean, you should just be building on 1710. Am I wrong?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they had just enhanced that and built off of that because it was so rock solid, instead of, this seems like, even though it's supposed to be the same system, it looks like it's completely revamped in a lot of ways when you think about it, and even what's under the hood. And even if you go into, the Mate tweak, they took things out and whatever. I mean, I see all that stuff. It's all stuff I used to use in some of the different settings. And yeah, it's nice to have all those options for the the different window layouts and whatever you want. And I thought, okay, the dash to dock would be nice and all that. And honestly, I find I'm not as impressive with it as I thought I was. It just leave it the way it was, and it was fine. It was working. It's kind of like you always say, Linux, if it ain't broke, they'll make sure they break it. It's just, it's sad, but I was, for the first time, so frustrated I won't say it here, it's family friendly, but it was the F-bomb thing, Linux can go. I was so mad the other day. And I thought, calm down, because by the time I get to the end of the week, I'll tell everybody what happened, and then we'll all get a laugh out of it because we've all been there.
We've all been there, Joe.
Yeah,
all of us.
Absolutely.
Especially when those icons on the panel just do not work right. It just...
Yeah.
But really, can you say to Linux users that don't fix it if it works? Well, never heard of that.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. It doesn't always stay working. That's the problem.
And I get it. They want to put new features in or have some nicer stuff or whatever they want to do, want to enhance it. But sometimes, it just seems like they do more harm than good. It's like, leave it alone, and you want to add a couple little things here or there, that's fine. But why change it so significantly? Because this was a big change in 1804. And I just don't, and I was really excited about it. And honestly, I'm hugely disappointed. I almost put 1710 back on here, but I thought, why? I got 2 months left, and that's not supported.
Just wait till Juno comes out and it'll be perfect.
Or try to into 1804 because that's true.
What?
I said until you find that one pixel off.
Juno does not have any pixels off. Trust me.
Unless you install something that wasn't Elementary made.
Yeah, Juno may have some other issues that we might encounter, but pixels will not be one of them.
It's actually going to be perfect.
Exactly.
Well, you mentioned the icon. Somebody mentioned the icon changing sizes. That's the one thing that happened to this the other day. Ubuntu Studio. I had loaded Steam, and then I can't remember what else I loaded. A couple other things, whatever. And all of a sudden, the Steam icon was like that big up in the taskbar. You couldn't make out what it was, and it changed. And Alan was the one that said change the theme, and I changed it, and boom, sure enough. So if you try to change the icons back, the icon theme to something different, it keeps coming back. So you have to almost leave the default ones in here, which is not a big deal.
Yeah, but it's not just Steam though. There's a couple. InSync, I think, is one of the programs that the icon is just ridiculously huge.
Backstreet Boys also is annoying with their icon.
Mm-hmm.
Dropbox
And
doesn't have a proper one in here. I've got Dropbox in here, and it does.
Spider Oak is the same way.
The thing about it that confuses me is I wonder what changed between then and now, because the icons themselves are in the same place they've been. They're in the same place in the same folders they've been in for these icon themes. So it's not that's changed, it's the desktop that's changed.
Well, it's got to be some resizing problem that it's picking up. Maybe I don't know what it's picking up, but it's not.
DPI, it's back to kill us all.
It's resizing. It's not resizing the icon the right way.
It's back to kill us all.
I know that
the code.
I know that Papyrus icon, they got the special elementary icon pack.
Yep.
Yeah, I never had problems with it.
Stuff. Yeah.
I always find them one or two programs that nobody else runs.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it looks goofy.
If you absolutely need something, I'm sure I can take care of it if it's elementary related. Just putting that out there.
He's got the hookup.
Or speak to Eric. Eric will sort it.
Yeah, the Smarty icons are really well done. Like they're so just complete on all fronts. I mean, it's probably the only non-elementary icon set that like properly had every icon, not only for elementaries like Pantheon, but things like the mail client and everything. Like it's the only one that had the proper icons for it.
Papyrus is good, but it lacks a couple.
It's close, and the scaling is off for their mono icons on the top.
Yep.
Well, Peppermint's the same way. If you change the icon themes in there, some of them don't even show up in the menu tree and stuff. But interestingly enough, and Michael's not going to like what I'm going to say, but when I was on Mint for a long time, and both Cinnamon and actually Mate, I love the Mate version. Every time it did an update, or whether it was a point release or a major update, I never had problems with it.
The icon set in Mint is Fainza.
But I'm talking about the whole distro as a whole. I never really had any problems with it. The reason that it screwed up last time was my fault messing with the kernels.
So why aren't you back on it then?
Well, I thought about it, but I thought, well, the next LTS is going to come out, so if I'm going to wait for one or the other, so I might as well just wait. It's only going to be in another month or two.
Yeah, probably like 2 months.
I thought about going to 17.3, but I was curious to look at this too. So I figured,
but 19 will be out soon, ain't? I mean, it should be
like a
in
month.
the next 2 weeks.
Right.
Nah.
I thought it was a month.
It's always at least a month or two.
Yeah, I thought it was a month or so.
Mm-hmm. Mid-June.
They have the same thing that Elementary does and all the other distros that are based on the LTS. They basically, or sometimes they get it out in a month. So most of the time it's 2.
I'm downloading Ubuntu Mate right now.
No, you're not, are you?
Yeah, I am.
Why are you going to torture yourself?
I have an idea. Some of the issues, I know how I can kind of fix a couple of them, but I don't really know how to give that to anyone. But I know I can.
Why don't you wait for a point release though? Why mess with it now?
Well, because point releases, it's going to have some cool stuff, but in terms of fixing the stuff that I found wrong with it, these are quote unquote not priority. So,
I get it.
Well, but I'm sure they would
wait, because what you get in the initial release is not going to be the final product anyway. And
but
I'm sure they would appreciate the bug fixes though, if you could do that.
I have some ideas, and I figure I might as well give it a go, because the stuff I found between Ubuntu Mate and some of these other ones, they're shared packages that they're using, so it makes it a little easier, and it would explain why some of the problems are so common between them. So
now, Chicken, I thought you were running Manjaro Mate a couple of weeks ago, weren't you?
I was actually.
He might be a distro hopper.
Yeah.
Actually, on my desktop, nothing's changed. This has all just been stuff changing on my laptop after a while, just because.
He's getting his fix.
You just have one machine you hop on?
Oh, well, normally I hop on all of them, actually, if I'm honest. But,
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, elementary has kind of stuck me in one place for a while. So I don't hop as much. This is just me waiting.
That's why I had to laugh in one of the streams. I don't know if it was in Tosses or whose it was when they were talking about, or maybe we even talked about it last week when they were talking about SSDs, and so many people say, "Oh, I had 3 of them die, or I had 5 of them die." SSDs typically don't die. Either you get a bad one or you don't. But typically you don't get them bad. Most of them are pretty stable. But the truth of the matter is for as much writing as being done to them and messing around with them with loading distros after distros, you kind of hate to say you're kind of asking for it a little bit too with that, you know, because they're not meant to be constantly rewritten and erased and rewritten and all that stuff. You know, I mean, you know, you get on there, you add some programs, and once in a while you take them off, but they're not meant to be going through what we go through with them. So.
Hey, if you get some of the really high end, like high write capacity and like write endurance SSDs that they use in like the server stuff, like if you can get like a really, really good one, like huge initial cost, but it'll last a long time.
Yeah, I know whose stream it was. It was Toss's stream, but it was run with the Dolphin. He said he had 3 or 4 SSDs die on him in the last couple of years. Yeah, and they were all Samsung Evos, which is strange because that's all I run. I've never had one.
But it depends on the version too. There was Samsung, I think it was their 840s had some firmware issues, which may have been in fact the problem because the 850s corrected that.
And some other smaller, their smaller drives, they have less capable controllers, so they kind of what I'd consider lazily toss the data and manage broken.
I have one problem.
A stacked chipset instead of just, you know, like they used to be too. So
yeah,
sorry.
and I think right now what they're using like the triple cell like NAND flash or something, and like they're a lot faster, but they do technically run out quicker.
I don't know about that.
They're getting really good at managing it. Like it's not going to be something that you notice unless you sit there and benchmark it nonstop.
Well, I have a lot of 850 drives, and only one of them gives me issues, and that's the smaller one, the 120.
Yeah, the smaller ones typically, there's a lot of reasons that they do that, and it's just between the controller and the amount of space they can put things. When you get bad blocks, or you get just areas it can't write to, the more availability you have, the better it can kind of mesh and even the data between these aging cells, whether they be dead or unavailable or just not responding the way they once would. It's typically higher like cache levels as well, which will increase speed and efficiency, all kinds of variables like that. But typically the bigger the capacity, the better the overall performance, which is why with like a 32 gigabyte flash drive, you'll see like a 99 megabytes per second, or megabits per second, I think, probably megabits, yeah. And then like with the 64, you'll see like a full 100 or 101 or 102, and it's just because it's got more to work with, and it's got some better options for the controller to deal with.
And I don't know that reloading distros really is going to. The theory is they're supposed to be written to for 75 years.
Well,
but
think about what the distro does when you write it. Like you can write it onto like a little flash drive. It's not that much at all.
Yeah.
No, it's thousands of writes. It's not about the size of the content; it's the amount of writes and the amount of reads.
Oh, because of all the files.
Mm-hmm. So it's making like thousands and thousands of writes. Right. But the issue is that, not the issue.
Built to deal with.
SSDs used to be a problem where you could kill them quickly if you did a lot of writing to it, but now you're looking at like 5 petabytes of writing, so it don't matter.
So Rocco's getting pretty close because of all the hopping.
Well, I have to say this 120 drive that gives me issues is probably the first one I had, so it is a couple years old.
I'm sorry, Michael. Can you just say that again about the SSD? Because you sound like Doc Emmett Brown from Back to the Future. Marty, I need 5 gigawatts. Really?
Right.
It's amazing.
Petabytes.
Yeah, petabytes.
Petrobytes, wasn't it? Was it?
No, it's peta.
Petrol.
Oh, peta.
What's cool about petabytes is if you guys are interested in stuff like that and you guys like data storage stuff, like super easy, like simple stuff. Like Linus Tech Tips has a video where they set up like their petabyte server, which is more or less like 1,000 terabyte capacity of
which is ridiculous.
Yeah, so like it's pretty cool stuff, and he just like blankets over, like setting it up and how, he's got to work with like storage controllers and whatnot. Like it's pretty neat stuff. Like digital storage is fascinating.
You know who needs that much storage? Rocco needs that much storage.
I don't want to jinx myself, but the drive that's in here is 4.5 years old now. It's a Seagate 600 series 240 gig SSD, and this thing has been rock solid like a trooper. It's just, and for whoever wasn't here earlier, 7 seconds to boot this distro
that's pretty good.
And can I just say, Zeb, any updates on Pep 9? Because, my peppermint drug addiction needle is empty, and I'm and I can't believe that you guys are not sitting here with the shakes saying, "Oh my God, Zeb, when's Pep 9? Pep 9?" Am I the only one on the planet?
You're the only one.
I'm waiting for Pep 9.
Yeah, we discussed it earlier. We're alpha testing at the moment. It'll probably be out second week in June.
Peppermint's too stable for me.
Oh my.
Yeah, it's too easy
right now.
Yeah, but don't hold me to that date because it will be released when it's ready.
Yeah.
EB, you really don't want a system that just works. You want a little bumps in the road so you can flop around,
Yeah, bumps in the road. Listen, I have car crashes on the interstate. What my God. Hey, listen, every distro developer on the planet has a big red light and it goes off. Oh my God, he's beating on distro. Car crash alert.
Now,
well, just for EB tonight, I'm actually running Calculate.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Calculate solid.
You've turned to the dark side and DZME Dirk. Oh,
he spent all day trying to figure it out while he was calculating. So,
yeah. Well, Calculate Linux is really, really easy. All you have to do is install Porthole, and the whole distro just becomes a piece of cake. However, I installed Porthole and bricked it. Trust me.
Oh my gosh! So what is what does that do for it?
It's fantastic. It kind of puts the Synaptic package manager, the Gen 2 version of Synaptic on it, and it just, rather than having to type EIX to search like you do a YAWR on Arch, or type it sudo emerge this, that, and the other, you just open up Porthole, type in what you're looking for, and it just does the whole thing for you. It is pretty cool.
It looks just like Synaptic. You'd almost think it was the Synaptic package manager.
Yeah, but the other good thing about it is you can do advanced emerge. It's like when you install OBS Studio, you have to take off, I forget what it's called now, even though I just did it about half hour ago. You have to take off a certain item. Now, if you did that on emerge, it'd be like emerge, OBS Studio, space, minus, and then the name of the application. Whereas in advanced Porthole, you just untick the box, so it doesn't have it as that option anymore. So you can just do a straightforward install OBS, and it doesn't work.
And as Steve mentioned,
emerge.
Yeah, as Steve mentioned, Synaptic and Debian or Ubuntu, you can't really break your system, but using Porthole with those advanced features, you can do some damage.
Yeah, no, I love it, Derek, because I love human beings' inability to do as they're told, right? So it was dead simple. It said, EB, do not run Porthole as sudo. Open the command line, sudo Porthole.
Yeah, that's the first thing you do.
Yeah, but you can't
do it.
You can't run Porthole not sudo. It doesn't work.
Right, you can't install software without being super user. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no, but you're not supposed to run the whole program as sudo. By the way, Zeb,
yes, you are.
No. Just a quick one. Barking Bandicoot has got a question. Great question. He's backported Plasma onto Peppermint. Is there an easy way to remove the default system/settings?
No.
That's one for the Zeb.
No. And why did you put Plasma on Peppermint? What a waste.
Sorry. I have to say, Zeb's never nothing bar brutal, is he? Do you know what? You just have a solid man. Yeah, have a bit of that. I love
that. Would be like
you're muted, Michael.
You're muted, Michael.
What were you going to say?
I was just going to say, who wouldn't want Plasma Mint?
Oh,
Plasma Mint.
Go back to being
really?
Yeah, they wanted to make
go back to mute.
Are you going to make
That's much better, Michael.
Enforcer.
Don't make him do it.
Enforcer out
Oh
No,
my
no, no,
god!
I'm sorry for the pun. I won't do it.
Don't do that, Michael.
I won't do it any more than 3 more times.
You know what I'm more interested in rather than the Peppermint release is the Linux Lite release. I know Lamer's been running the beta. How's it looking?
I actually switched because it was having troubles picking up my microphone from my snowball microphone. It kept using the laptop microphone.
Yeah.
Really, Pulse Audio.
Yeah.
2018 Pulse Audio issues.
But after that, it's real good, honestly.
Yeah. I'll still take a look at it when it comes out. I'm not going to take a look at
that's
it
what I'm gonna
in
do.
beta, though. Yeah.
Kingo wants to know what that XP distribution is called.
Yeah, I'm just typing a response now. Oh, sorry, I've put King. I thought it was King of Games. If you do a search on YouTube for Avdan, he's absolutely brilliant. Now, bear in mind, this is a concept at the minute, not an actual downloadable distribution. So you have to bear that in mind. But just do a quick search on YouTube for the user Avdan, and he's got some amazing. What he's done, he's upgraded Windows 10 to 11. He's done this, he's done that. But the Windows XP 2018 concept is just, I don't think it'll ever happen. I think it's just, look, this is what it could be. But I just think it's fantastic. And for old, farts like me, it's a great little retro blast from the past. Just to see what you can do if you put a bit of time and effort into your distro.
There, put a link out for his channel.
Smashing. Thanks, BD. That's great.
Now, I have a question, seeing as I'm the only one that's on Studio or sounds like I've been on it. Have any of you tried it just to see what your thoughts were on it?
Not in a while. Well, I used to look at it. It's been a while. Because I like the idea of having Jack set up for me because I don't want to do that. But the problem is that it doesn't have KX Studio packages, which is like that's Jack, but Jack made better with like Cadence and Carla, stuff like that. But you can't. Those are not available in Ubuntu Studio. If they were to do that, it'd be more interesting. But I don't think nothing other than KX Studio does that.
And when I loaded this up, I loaded everything in here because I wanted to see at its fullest without me, even before I put stuff in here, how it would run. And honestly, like every other 1804, it's got its little quirks, but it's not bad. And I think if they tweak and figure out like everything else with the next, whatever they're going to do for their next point release, it isn't a bad distro. It seems really snappy and it runs. And
well, the 1804 is not an LTS, so it's going to have the same.
No, I know that. Yeah, I know that. But it's the point is I'm very surprised because it's been a while since I've been on this, and I'm really amazed at how well it's running.
Yeah, it's been much.
Could I just ask a couple of quick questions? First of all, is the latest version of Linux Lite, version 4, still bricking with the NVIDIA 390 drivers? And second, Zeb, have you changed your attitude to calculate? Because your original attitude was, well, it ain't all that, love.
Well, I installed it because I wanted to remember. Could I remember all the things Serge told me? And yes, I can. It works, but it's just an XFCE distribution based on Gentoo. It's nothing to write home about as far as I'm concerned. It boots no quicker than Peppermint, and I will say one thing about Pep 9 that I'm not supposed to, and Mark will probably kill me. It boots up quicker than Pep 8.
Wow. That'll be. I can't wait for Pep 9. The only thing is, though, Zeb, Dirk, which is DZME, is absolutely adamant that if you strip the calculate bits out of it, you're left with a pure Gen 2 system, which I really struggled to understand because I thought the whole point of Gen 2 was to compile and build it purely to your hardware. Calculate obviously isn't.
No, you can't do that because it's you haven't compiled it. You've built it from files. It's not.
It's still 100%. Yeah, it's 100% compatible with Gen 2. So yeah, you could remove everything that Calculate, adds on top of like the base system,
but you wouldn't get the benefit.
But it's still not
Gen 2.
Yeah, you still did not install Gen 2. It's Gen 2 after you get done with it, but you didn't install Gen 2.
Yeah, it's based on binaries rather than compiled.
Yeah, one of the most common criticisms I hear about Calculate, and I'm not a Gen 2 expert, so I don't really grasp it all of the time, is that it's if I've got this the right way around, the problem with Calculate, it's compiled from binaries, not from source. And all the Gen 2 fanboys hate Calculate because it's not from source. Is that right? Or
correct? Yeah, it's binary files that they have put together that you use to install it. Whereas if you do it the Gen 2 way, you have to sit there and compile everything
for hours
for your system. And again, unless
distros based on Gen 2 that are like derivatives types, Fun2 is not really a derivative, but it's similar. But like Sabian and Calculator are all the same, where they're binary based.
Yeah.
So you're not having the benefits.
But I have to be honest, here's the biggest coup, which I'm so proud of. Dirk, DZME, who is 100% a Calculate fanboy, right, is now permanently running Peppermint 8 on his gaming laptop because it does what the Calculate don't. How cool is that?
Yeah.
How cool is that, eh? I love it when stuff like that happens. I really do. And every time I ask him about Peppermint 8, you can see him squirming and getting really uncomfortable. It's on my laptop. Yeah. I absolutely love that about the Pep. It makes you squirm your backside because it just works. There's nowhere to go. It's great.
All right, it's that time. It's the witching hour. So everybody gets a last word. PZ.
You're not going to get a live Destination Linux tomorrow, but you can watch the latest episode when it comes out on next Friday. The only people who get to watch it live is if you are a Patreon.
Correct. Joe?
My experience this week is just, or any other week, is if you're going to change distros, be sure you have what files you need before you decide to go to the
backup.
Yes.
And remember which location you put it back.
Colin?
Not Linux related, but it is Mother's Day today, so I'm off for lunch.
Nice.
Derek?
No real last words. I enjoyed spending my Saturday evening with you fine gentlemen. Yep. And with Barbara earlier.
Yep.
Same here.
Nice. We'll come back to Matt, I guess, because he's off camera. Pete?
Finalize my travel plans for self.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's a couple guys gone. Michael's gone. Ryan's gone. One of the guys in the Telegram group, Tyler, I think, is gone.
Yeah, Tyler is going, yeah. And
you
also
guys all going to meet up?
Devs.
Nice. So we expect videos and pictures and updates, and
I'm going to send you so many selfies.
And a live stream.
Yeah, a live stream would be good.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I have to figure out how I can live stream a selfie.
And if anybody doesn't know already, I don't know who wouldn't know by now, but Michael will be doing a presentation at Self on Caden Live. So
that is true.
Chicken?
The phrase cool beans doesn't make any sense because it's supposed to be a good thing, but you never eat beans cold. That's bad.
That's a fair point. And also, which is better? Do you want it fried or refried? And if it's cool, is it fried or refried? Which one is the cool bean?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Confusing.
Really? Lamer.
Wish me luck on my Arch Linux challenge.
You'll be
What
fine.
are you doing? Yeah. What are you doing for your Arch Linux challenge?
Just to see how long I can stay on Arch Linux. Hopefully, maybe a month or a year, something in there.
Oh, you'll be fine. Just keep it updated.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it for a year, just take the Rocco says.
Did you just say you'll be fine? Keep it updated in the same sentence. I mean, really?
I actually got a walkthrough on my laptop. Said if it ain't broke, break it.
And you'll be fine, Lamer, because you haven't made it as a New Year's resolution, so you'll be okay.
Wow, Seb, that's so wrong.
So
wrong.
I have broken several Arch installs before, so be warned. It can't happen.
Michael?
I'm going to use my last words as some words from the latest episode of Ubuntu Podcast.
Forced the upgrade. I forced the upgrade because I was running 1604. Yeah. And I think I should say that just like Das Geek, the everyman Linux user never reads the release notes. So the information.
Yes.
Oh, the gift that keeps on giving.
Beautiful.
Homer.
I'm totally speechless at this point.
EB?
Yeah, I'd just like to say to everybody, especially in the chat, if you're watching somebody stream, please remember just to pop and do a thumbs up. It really, really helps the streams out, and it takes a millisecond to do, and I think it's lovely. So yeah, thumb up your favourite live streamers.
Yeah,
nice.
Here's a smile.
Well, check out Destination Linux last week if you haven't. 68 because, or is that 69? 69 now.
Yeah, Zeb's favourite number there, yeah.
Because one of the YouTubers got a nice shout out because he's pretty awesome. So you should check him out.
Mm-hmm.
EB in the house. And then wait for this Friday's episode because we will have a good interview. So, all right. We're out until next week. Everybody have a great night.
Cheers, everybody. Remember, the destination is just as important as the biddle.
Flash Amazon.